Mic'd up with Jake and Fulton coming to you on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake LeBon, Fulton Caster with you. The snow is melted. It's getting warmer. That is a positive. As it is not Wednesday. I said it is Wednesday. It is Tuesday.
It's okay. Things run together at this point.
Man, it is just Tuesday. It feels like it's Wednesday. I wish it was Wednesday. That would be nice. It's not. It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
We got lots to talk about, even though I don't know what day of the week it is, apparently. We will get to plenty of Chiefs discussion. We're also going to hear from Matt Derrick. A little crosstalk. Brendan Dworzinski will join us coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. We will talk Champions Classic. There's actually a college basketball game that I'm going to watch tonight. And it's going to tip off at like 9.
Yeah, because the first game always goes long.
KU and Duke. We'll get to, does it feel different because Coach K and Bill Self are not going to be coaching in this game? We'll get to that coming up. We got to get more into a problem for the NFL, something that they should and could easily get things figured out. They really, really could. So we got a lot to get to. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. Hit us up on Twitter at SportsOn580. Very simple, very easy, SportsOn580. You can go to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/@SportsOn580. Very simple, very easy to interact with us. You can watch on the stream. You can do all sorts of stuff. Interact with us in the comments. Very simple, very easy here on this edition of Mic'd Up. Watching the game on Sunday, and more specifically, watching number 19 do his best triple jump warm-up, essentially, down the sidelines into the end zone for Kadarius Toney. Going up and getting it, doing his best Justin Jefferson impression. That was kind of fun to see as well with Kadarius Toney. So I thought that was a lot of fun. I thought that was great to see when it comes to the youngster Kadarius Toney. And then you got Isaiah Pacheco, and I'm like, man, this is kind of a good situation that the Chiefs got. So looking at the rookies for the Kansas City Chiefs, this is a impressive list for what they are doing already for this Chiefs team. And the guy that I thought first was Kadarius Toney. He's not a starter, but he is a pretty important backup guy right now. Don't know how long Juju's going to be out. Don't know how long McCole Hardman's going to be out. The starting wide receivers come Sunday night could very well be MVS, Justin Watson, Kadarius Toney, and Sky Moore, which is interesting. But look at these first-year guys for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kadarius Toney, so far in his 2 games, got a touchdown, has played pretty well. Isaiah Pacheco, he's a starter. I would call him average. I don't think he's terrible, but I don't think he's great. Can't fumble the football. Leo Chanel got his first sack, showing some signs of blitz pickup. He's also playing a lot more. Furious George Karlaftis, he's a starter. He's played, to me, average. Now, you'd like a little bit more sack production, but he's getting pressures. He had 2 passes defensed, and that is a huge, huge play that he made. He had 2 big getting his hands up in pass breakups. He's done very well against the run. He is a starter. He's playing, to me, an average so far for the Kansas City Chiefs. Then you've got first-round pick, Mr. McDuffie, who looked excellent in the game. Really, really did. He's your starter. He's looking very good. You've got Watson. He's a starter. He's looking very good. I would label McDuffie and Watson above average right now, to be honest with you. Then you got Josh Williams, who's now your fourth corner, along with Snead, McDuffie, Watson. Brian Cook is a special team guy. Sky Moore right now. Here's what's the crazy thing about this. Sky Moore, the guy who maybe was talked about more than anybody once the draft started, is getting the least amount of run for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's your rookie class right now. You have got 4 starters, 3 guys who I would label as backups or in sub packages, whereas Tony would be that situation, Leo Chanel in that situation, and then Williams when they go the dime defense and bring in 4 corners. And then throw in last year's rookie class, who's in their second year. Nick Bolton is a starter. He's Pro Bowl level. Creed Humphrey is a starter. He's an all-pro level. Noah Gray, by the way, Noah Gray has been a nice little sophomore season for Noah Gray. He's in sub packages, especially now with Blake Bell out. Then you got Trey Smith, who is a starter, who hasn't played to me as well this year as last year, but I think it's because it's due to injury with that ankle. So you look at the last 2 rookie classes, or the last 2 guys that the Kansas City Chiefs went out and got. And I consider Tony a rookie because he played in like 4 games last year, and the Chiefs are basically saying he's a rookie for us. In a 2-year stretch, you have 7 starters and 4 sub-package guys right now on your team. And the sub-package is still important. I mean, Leo Chanel, Kadarius Toney, Williams, Noah Gray. Like, don't tell me Noah Gray can't make an impact in the game. Look what we saw Noah Gray do against the help me out. Just why can't I think of the game? Caught the ball down the middle of the field, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, what a
Tennessee,
the Tennessee Titans." Yes. Wow, very forgettable team, Tennessee. Very forgettable.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me that's not an important aspect.
Yeah,
He has played that. So you're looking at 11 key aspects in the last 2 years. That's 7 starters and 4 guys who play a role on this team. They kept every single draft pick this year. Every single one of them. This is how you sustain success if you are the Kansas City Chiefs. But also, I did not expect that you would have this many guys actually producing. These guys are producing, not just being Jags, just a guy. McDuffie, Watson, Chanel, they are actually producing. That is something that not many of us thought would happen right now with this rookie class in 2022. I did not think that that would happen. I did not think Nick Bolton would be this good going into year 2 and being an absolute tackling machine that he is. I did not think Trey Smith, you just didn't. They are lacking a bona fide superstar when it comes to their most recent draft classes. They don't have that guy. They don't have a Chris Jones. They don't have a Travis Kelce. They don't have, I don't want to say Patrick Mahomes because he's quarterback. He's going to be the quarterback for the next 15 years. But that's the only thing right now that this Chiefs team, the last 2 years or 3 years, are missing are a bona fide, no doubt, home run draft pick or, somebody of that. I don't think Bolton is that. I don't think Creed Humphrey is that. It's hard to have a splash, type of guy as your O lineman interior. I think you can do that at, like a left tackle or a right tackle. I do. I think you can find that in a left tackle or right tackle. But I think it's hard to, because he's at the center and you just don't see the center much. Granted, he's playing like it though. But somebody that is a little bit more sexy, if you will. But it's incredible right now what this Chiefs team has been able to do in starting so many young guys. 7 of the 22 starters are rookies or second-year guys on this team. This is what, Tommy's third year as punter?
I believe so. It should be.
Did I not include Tommy? Now I'm thinking of Tommy Townsend. Because is this his third year?
I'm pulling it up for you right now. This is his third year as the punter.
Okay, yeah. So it's third year. So so he didn't fall in this category.
No.
If he was second year, he would fall into this category
He
as
would.
an above average starter. But offense, defense, this is incredible for the Kansas City Chiefs. It really, really is. And that's what makes you at least excited. I think McDuffie has a chance to be that type of guy. And I think if he doesn't get hurt and he plays like he is, that we've seen him play over the last, over a 6-game stretch, I think McDuffie might be that guy, folks. I really do. I think that might be the guy that you go, yeah, I think they finally hit the home run with Trent McDuffie. Haven't seen it anywhere else recently, and they're eventually going to have to do that. They will. But holy cow, this rookie class is making an impact. And I just thought, wow, look at Chanel, look at Pacheco, and just specifically the game against the Jaguars. Pacheco had a nice game. Chanel had a nice game. Tony with a touchdown. McDuffie with a great game. Furious George that right there, those 5 guys made impact. That's an impact rookie class that you're getting, and you're drafting not in the top 15, not in the top 20. Now you're able to, the whole Tyreek Hill, blah, 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 that type of thing. You don't get Trent McDuffie unless you trade Tyreek Hill.
No, you don't, because you use the draft assets you had from that trade to trade up to get Trent McDuffie. And the Chiefs are set up very nicely for the future right now because so many of their young guys are playing well and contributing. And you're right. They're doing it without drafting highly, and this is what good teams have to do. Is good teams do not have the benefit of drafting your blatant studs, your guys that are the consensus top 5, top 10 picks. You don't get those guys. You just don't. So you have to find a way to build talent through evaluation and knowing what you can get at later rounds. And Brett Veach and company have shown an incredible ability to diagnose and evaluate talent. Now, have they had some misses? Of course they have. Joshua Kando has been an absolute abject failure at this point. Cordell Powell can't make an NFL roster at this point.
Cordell Powell, he's a 6th-round pick. I don't care about that.
He's a 5th-round pick.
I don't care about 5th-round picks.
But overall, Chiefs are hitting on 4th rounds and 7th round picks. Like the point is, if you're going to talk about the successes, you need to also lump in that there are misses, but
I don't think
the successes are outweighing the misses.
I don't even think you can say there's a miss in the 5th round. Like if you hit on a 5th or 6th or 7th round, that's like finding $100 on the street. You don't go, damn it, I didn't find $100 on the street. You go, wow, I found $100 on the street. You miss on a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd? Yes, I am with you because Kando was a 3rd, right?
Kando was a 4th.
So yeah, I'm not. I that's just how I view it.
And this is how I evaluate it. Prior to the 7th, you are giving up an asset to get a guy. You think at some level, even in the later rounds, they are going to be somewhat useful to you. Somewhat. I'm not saying impact player. I'm saying somewhat they might do something.
Yeah, and that's why I don't care after the 4th round.
And that's fine. But
4th round.
And here's the thing, though.
I'm with you there.
And this is what I'll say, though, on the idea of a 5th, a 6th, or a 7th for the Chiefs mattering. When you are like them and you are picking so late and you also need cheap talent to produce, hitting on those later rounds, like a 5th, like a 6th, like a 7th, is so incredibly valuable. Now, like the fact that you have 2 7th-round picks that can be starters this year with Watson and Pacheco is incredibly valuable.
Now, see, to me, you're switching things up here. You're valuable and misses are that's 2 completely different arguments. You don't miss on a 7th-round pick. I mean, that's a coin. I mean, that's not even a coin toss. That's not even a dart throw. I mean, that's like standing at the top of a bridge and aiming for, something in the water that you're trying to hit. Odds are you're not going to get it. So that's not a miss. Like, I don't think missing on Cornell Powell is a huge deal. I really, really don't. You got to hit on your 1st through 3rd picks, like top 100 picks. I'm with, you cannot miss on those if you're the Chiefs. But if you're picking like in the 4th round and pick like 150, that can, like, if you trade up to get somebody, then I can see that maybe as a little bit more of a miss. But if you're just drafting in the 5th round, the 6th round, the 7th round, those aren't misses. Those are just, hey, I found $100. Like, that's how I view the draft. They haven't had many misses in the 1st or 2nd or 3rd rounds as of late. That's just where we differ in the draft. Cornell Powell is not a miss. No, we took the wrong guy. I mean, that's how I view it.
Mm-hmm. And for me, a team that is going to be reliant on cheap young talent with the high level contracts you have to pay out, you can't afford to me, with the way you have to build this roster, you can't afford to miss in any round. Because the more...
Well, you're not... I mean, that's unrealistic.
Well, you're going to miss, but you need to try and maximize what you're getting. And
well, I think
that's my point.
You're going to miss, 90% of the time on 6th and 7th round picks.
And that's fine. That's why Cornell Powell, as a 5th round pick, as the one receiver you took there, with a lot of different other late round options you could have tried to go for, like, that matters. That matters, the fact that a chance for a cheap, and we talk about the wide receiver factor matter. The Chiefs don't have a lot of wide receivers under contract. It would help if Cornell Powell could be an actual football player. It would help the wide receiver crunch right now for next year. Because you got 3 guys under contract next year. Would it help to have a 4th in Cornell Powell if he was somewhat useful? Yeah, then you wouldn't worry about, well, can we re-sign Juju? Can we re-sign Justin Watson even?
I just think
that's my point.
It's way your expectations on hitting on 5th round picks.
I'm
not
not expecting them again. I'm not expecting them to hit. I'm saying you can't flat out have a non-factor. Like, it matters. You have a non-factor there.
We'll get a quick timeout. Coming up next, we will hear and we will get to. I was hoping we'd have a new regime. I was hoping things would be different. It's still the same over there at One Royal Way. We'll get to that next. Things over there in Kansas City have changed. I did. JJ Piccolo taking over, right? Mactraro. I'm like, yeah, we're going to have a new blue situation. And then today they made some roster moves. And apparently they were like, you know what? We just need to see more Ryan O'Hearn. We're going to sign him to a 1-year deal worth $1.4 million. That doesn't mean he's on the roster. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed right now.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. I've seen enough of Ryan O'Hearn to know he sucks. Why are you bringing him back? Bring in literally anybody else. What has changed if Ryan O'Hearn is on the roster? Do you know that Ryan O'Hearn was just one of 4 players who stayed up on the big league roster the whole entire year?
That is true.
That's why they suck, because he's on the roster for 162 games. Why is that? Coming up next, we're going to talk with Matt Derrick. To Kansas City to talk all things Chiefs. We welcome in our Herman's Meat and Smokehouse Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com. Matt, how are you doing, my friend?
I guess I am enjoying what is now winter in Kansas City. So hit rock bottom. That's what I'm saying.
Right? Right? Like we don't need, like, I'm all right with snow after Thanksgiving.
Sure. It's what you have to expect, but winter, no, not my favorite time of the year.
No, I'm with you there, man. I am. Well, let's get to the Kansas City Chiefs and the win against the Jaguars. I call it -4 in the turnover margin because they botched an onside kick. That's essentially a turnover. And you win by, honestly, 17. The last touchdown really didn't mean much with 5 minutes to go. That's absurd that they're able to do that. Like, that game felt like they played absolutely terrible on offense. But looking deeper, I mean, when they had the football, they only punted twice. And if you got guys don't turn the ball over, they're simply fine. And like the game just felt like they didn't dominate it despite being -4 in the turnover margin.
Yeah, and for the most part, I mean, at least the turnovers weren't terribly costly. I mean, they weren't in positions that made it easy points for the Jaguars. And, and probably the Chiefs were bound to be a little bit unlucky on a turnover day. I think I'd read earlier, what was it, that, the Chiefs had been recovering 60% of plus of loose balls that the other teams had. So it was probably just about random for the Chiefs to lose a bunch of their own turnovers and on their own fumbles. So, but I think once again, I mean, I think to your point, it tells you just how good this team is, that they can give away the football essentially 4 times and still have a game that was never in doubt. I mean, they could have played Jaguars, I think, for 3 more days, and all the Jaguars would have ever caught up in that game. The Chiefs are just a better team, and they proved it.
When it comes to the defensive side of things, what stood out to you most?
I think it has to be the run defense once again. I mean, this Jaguars team has been running the ball very effectively one of the top rushing teams in the league. Travis Etienne had been so good of late and been so effective running the ball. The Chiefs just absolutely shut him and the entire run game down. I mean, you take out Trevor Lawrence's scrambles, and that was a just absolutely stifling day for the Jaguars on the ground. They just couldn't get anything done. And it was at all levels. I mean, up front, Colin Saunders has really put himself in charge of the run defense. I mean, he's not out there all the time, but he's out there for a lot of run situations and has just been very, very effective of late. But the entire line has played well. There haven't been a lot of gaps. Really, in the last couple of games, they made just two mistakes, I thought, against the Titans, where they over pursued and left some gaps open, and Derrick Henry gashed them. But there were no gaps for the Titans on Sunday. I mean, they really closed it up. The front four, the linebackers played well in that sense, and cornerbacks too. I mean, the secondary was getting involved in making tackles, make sure and nothing got downfield. So I thought it was a pure team effort on the defensive side. And that's good, because this is a Chiefs team that had shown that they were susceptible to the run at times, and now they put together two really, really good performances against the run.
When it comes to Chris Jones, is this the best he's ever played?
I could certainly make the argument that it is, and it's the best he's played since the back end of the 2018 season. Remember when he had the 15.5 sacks, at this point in the season through 9 games, he only had 5 of those sacks. Yeah, he had that stretch where he picked up a sack, what was it, in 9 straight games, and finished the year with 10.5 in the back end of the season. This year, I mean, he's having the best first half of the season he's ever had. And I don't even think it's just against the pass and as a pass rusher. I mean, I think he's been playing the run pretty effectively too. You see what kind of happens at a pseudo contract year with Chris Jones healthy, and I think in a really good mood. I mean, he seems to be really happy and enjoying the situation and enjoying his play right now. That feeds in itself, and I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, I know Pro Football Focus says he's, I think, still the top-rated defensive tackle in the league. I put him right there too. I'm not sure there's anybody in the league playing better than him right now.
Stay with the defense. What did you think of Trent McDuffie in really his first game against a legitimate passing attack?
Yeah, and they took a couple of shots at him too, and he held up, I thought, very, very well. I mean, and he also had 7 tackles on top of that, which shows that when they were targeting, he was making plays, but I think he was helping out in other areas as well. He looks very comfortable. Seems like healthy. That the hamstring is completely behind him. But you see why the Chiefs made him their first round draft pick. I mean, there was a couple of times I thought even on Sunday where maybe the receiver had a half step on him, and McDuffie made it up, stood right on this hip, and ends up making a play. I mean, he had a couple of pass breakups that I thought were really nice, and definitely a couple of deep balls that kept things from getting worse. Might have had one mistake, but even then I think that, may have been a miscommunication, and young guys are going to have that. But, the Chiefs knew that. The Chiefs knew with a young secondary and playing that many guys, hey, they're going to live with mistakes if the rest of the time they're making plays. And right now, I mean, McDuffie, in the action that we've seen him in, especially the last couple of games, he's doing a good job of that.
Nick Bolton and Willie Gay, are they the most underrated guys maybe in this entire team?
I think so. I mean, Bolton, I personally think is playing at a Pro Bowl level. I mean, he certainly should be there, and I don't think Willie Gay is far behind. The really nice thing is that they're getting a lot of help. I mean, Leo Chenal played really well the other day. Got his first sack. I think he's been playing with more confidence, and I thought bounced back from maybe a rough game against the Titans and had a really nice outing against the Jaguars. But Darius Harris continues to play well too. I mean, they've got a rotation right now with those 4 guys that. 5 guys, really. I mean, that if they have any problems, I mean, I think they feel pretty comfortable with that group right now. They're playing really well. So even if they get an injury, I think they're going to be okay at that spot. But I don't think there's any doubt. Nick Bolton and Willie Gay, they play off each other really nice. They complement each other's styles really well. Bolton has just become a heck of a leader. I mean, the way he's taken charge of that defense and is really, taking control of the team on the field, it's been really impressive to see.
We're talking with Matt Derrick, our Herman's Meat and Smokehouse Chiefs insider, as we talk all things Chiefs. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com. All right, on the offensive side of things, has Kadarius Toney already passed Sky Moore?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, as far as as far as efficiency goes, yeah, I mean, he's definitely making plays when he's on the field. The ball's coming his way. You can see Patrick Mahomes has a lot of confidence in him. And, I mean, there's two ways to look at it. I mean, one is that Kadarius Toney was certainly more talented receiver. He's a first-round draft pick for a reason. He's got a little bit more experience. Even that 1 year of just getting the rookie bumps out of the way is a big part of it. And he didn't come to this team, completely empty. I mean, he had some knowledge of offense. He picked up a little bit of the terminology from Mike Kafka and Dable in New York. So it wasn't he was coming in completely cold, but the fact that the Chiefs are willing to, build some offense around him and put some packages in specifically for him and make that a priority, that's not something they've been doing with Sky Moore. I mean, there was I think in the Colts game that Andy Reid said they had some packages specifically for Sky Moore and they never got to them. Well, 2 games in, they've had packages for Kadarius Toney and they get to them every single time. And you saw him take over a little bit of the playbook from McCole Hardman with him out last week on the jet sweeps. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would probably, as far as the depth chart goes, I would pencil him in as ahead of Sky Moore. I mean, he may not get more reps at this point because there's still just a limited slice of the playbook that he knows and that he's comfortable with and that they want to put him in there for. But there's no doubt, I mean, he's enough of a playmaker that Mahomes is going to try to find a way to get him the ball. And he's got some confidence in him. And those two things are going to happen. The ball's going to come his way. And if Kadarius Toney keeps catching it and doing things with it, it's just going to get better and better.
Alrighty, Isaiah Pacheco is now your full-on legit starting running back, and is Clyde Edwards-Helaire essentially a non-factor now?
I mean, we will see. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if in this running back by committee approach that maybe there's a week where they feel like Clyde's style is a little bit, better suited. But the fact that, that they went back to Pacheco after the fumble and then never went away from him, I think was a really solid indication about where they feel like Pacheco is and what he's doing right now. And then he comes back and has a really nice game. And if you're going to average 5.1 yards a carry, you're going to get the ball every single week. So, yeah, I mean, I thought last week that one of two things needed to happen in the Chiefs backfield. Either one of those backs needed to separate themselves or the Chiefs needed to separate one of those backs, because I think the Titans game showed that trying to get 3 guys involved just wasn't going to work. And I think this week you saw probably both those things happen. I mean, the Chiefs decided, okay, we're going to give Pacheco the workload and see what he can do. And Pacheco sees the opportunity. So I would expect that, yeah, I mean, it's going to be Pacheco most of the way. You're absolutely going to have McKinnon in there on third downs, passing downs, and whenever they need support in the pass game. But Pacheco's going to run the football, and I don't know where the spot for Clyde is right now.
Boy, first-round draft pick can't even get on the field in year 3. That's not a glowing endorsement right now.
It's not, but conversely, on the other side of it, I think it's actually a good sign that the Chiefs are willing to, if they're not going to put lip service now to it and put some words to it, then at least with their actions on the field, they're showing a willingness to move on from it. I mean, I didn't think it was a terrible draft move because I understood why the Chiefs made it. And if it had worked out the way that they thought, it was a really good plan. It didn't work out. So, yeah, it's going to go back down as not a great draft pick. But the worst thing you can do if you've got a draft pick, and especially a high pick that doesn't work out, is to compound the loss by continuing to make it work. And if it's not working, move on. And so at least at this point, the Chiefs are showing they're ready to move on.
All righty, let's get to some injured guys. McCole Hardman, is this like a serious thing with his abdomen or just a weak thing and he'll be back?
I mean, it certainly seems like a short-term thing. I mean, from what I'm hearing, it seems like it's probably more in the illness category than muscular. So that's a good sign. I mean, we will see if that's the case, if he comes back this week. Wouldn't surprise me if he's back in pretty short order. So obviously, with the depth the Chiefs have right now, I don't think that's a serious issue. But if he doesn't get back this week, it's certainly something worth monitoring.
All righty, Juju. What you saw definitely wasn't great. Do you think he comes back against the Chargers.
Yeah, it was certainly scary, and I don't know you can make any predictions on concussions. I mean, they're going to heal in their own way. Even bad ones are going to, and severe ones are going to heal in their own way. Could be back this week. I mean, it could be 4 weeks. Something it could linger. I mean, you never know. So I think the Chiefs are going to take it fairly conservative because they know how much they do need him and how much he's been contributing. And they don't want it to repeat. So they don't want a situation on their hands. So I expect them to be pretty conservative with this. But with concussions, predictions are almost impossible to make.
Let's move forward to the Chargers game. Funny how Mike Williams and Keenan Allen all of a sudden are back practicing for the Chiefs game. I think they realize that this is it. Like, this is the game. If they lose this game, then they have no chance.
Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting there at 5-4, and you're already 2 games behind the Chiefs, and here's a chance to be 3 games down and the tiebreaker. The AFC West is certainly gone. I mean, at that point, you're only fighting for a wild card. And yeah, I mean, this is make or break for the Chargers. I mean, they don't get this one. I just don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be hard for them, and we've seen it consistently. I mean, everybody seems to get healthy against the Chiefs, so wouldn't surprise me if they're going to be have as many reinforcements back this week as possible.
Do you think that this Charger team matches up well with the Chiefs because they know them so well and everything? Is that why it seems like they play so much better against the Chiefs than, say, the 49ers or, the who did they just beat the other day that come back and win? Oh gosh, who was that? Because they lost to the 49ers. Was it the Falcons? They lose to the
they beat the Falcons.
Yeah, barely beat the Falcons, right? Yeah. They had to come back and beat the Falcons. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like this Charger team fits well against the Chiefs.
Yeah, and maybe the Chargers seem to be like maybe perpetually stuck in 2013, 2014 Chiefs mode. I mean, they never really seem to get out of that, where they know that, just like the Chiefs then, the Chiefs knew the Broncos were the team to beat. That was the team that they had to get through, and they just, couldn't do it. I mean, the Broncos were the better team, and the Chiefs could give them some good fights, but they couldn't break through and get over the top. The Chargers know that. I mean, they bring their A game every single time that they beat they see the Chiefs, and they give them their best shot. They know them well, so they usually play them pretty well on defense. But, what happened in, week 2 is the same thing that happened in Los Angeles last year. The Chiefs, they go Madden mode, and, all of a sudden Mahomes and Kelsey can't be stopped in games against these guys. They just move up and down the field and get it done when they need to. Hey, if the Chargers are going to win, we know. I mean, there's going to be a close game. It's going to be tight all the way. Chiefs are probably the same way. I mean, they're going to blow out the Chargers on occasion, but, usually their wins are pretty tight as well. I expect it to be the same way this week. But all said and done, I mean, the Chiefs are the better team. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, Chargers play them tough almost every single time. But it just seems like there's that one part of the game that the Chiefs take over and the Chargers end up not having any answer for them.
Since the game against the Chargers in the first go around, they don't have Rashawn Slater. They don't have Joey Bosa. I don't know how the Chargers beat the Chiefs without a Bosa. I really don't, because he's been one of the biggest factors in this matchup, and just, some other guy filling in. And I know Williams and Allen are not going to be 100%. Like, I'm almost tempted to know, like, how outside of any given Sunday this Chargers team wins.
Yeah, I mean, they're built to try and get pressure on the Chiefs and be able to drop back and put a lot of pressure on them. And Bosa's the biggest part of that. And even back in week 2, they didn't, put a ton of pressure. They only sacked Mahomes once. And, so it wasn't really, I think, the best defensive performance the Chargers have had against the Chiefs, but that's what they're built for. And Bosa's a huge part of that. So to me, not having him and being, down some guys there on the defensive side, that's not where the Chargers need to be losing people against the Chiefs. I mean, if they're going to beat the Chiefs, it's because they're keeping the Chiefs under 27. I mean, probably 24. That's what you got to do, and just hope that your offense can score enough to win. I mean, but if the Chargers are not equipped defensively to slow down the Chiefs, and the Chiefs can put 30 up on the board, I just don't think the Chargers can keep up with them.
All righty, my last two for the road. Last two questions for you, Matt. One very, very simple. Our list today is burger toppings. Give me your top burger topping.
I'm going to be very, very boring because every time I have a burger, whatever toppings are on it, even if there's only one topping, that one topping is ketchup.
Oh, okay. So you went condiment.
He went the condiment route.
You went condiments. Okay.
I mean, I can't think of anything else. I mean, you're talking cheese, or you wanting lettuce? What do you want here?
Yeah, anything that you'd put
cheese,
on a burger.
Lettuce, bacon, onion rings, caramelized onions, anything you'd throw on that bad boy.
Mushrooms. You know, if you want to put.
I mean, it's a shorter
pickles.
list for me. Well, probably I don't know. Actually, it's probably a shorter list what I would put on a burger versus not, because no lettuce, no mushrooms. Yes to bacon. Yes to cheese. Yes to barbecue sauce. But, you know, hey, the other day we had hamburgers. We had some leftovers. I go to grab a burger, just heat it up for lunch. I put some Worcestershire sauce and ketchup on that bad boy, and that's it.
Ooh, Worcestershire.
That's,
okay.
That's one I think.
All righty. Last one I got for you. The Chiefs' record at the end of the regular season will be what?
I part of me wants to be gutsy and say 14-3, but I'm going to go 13-4. Be a little conservative. Win the AFC West. I think they're the number one seed. 13-4.
Matt, we appreciate the time as always, my friend. Well, let's just get through the snowy weather together. All right.
Exactly. It's already melting here, so I'm starting to feel a little bit better.
Thanks, Matt.
Take care, guys.
Matt Derrick, ChiefsDigest.com. Coming up, we'll finish off the noon hour, and we'll get to a little college hoops coming up next. The Eagles lost last night. How about this? Not great. Not great. The last undefeated NFL teams and their postseason result. Cardinals, they're 7-0. Wild card loss. Steelers, 11-0. Wild card loss. Patriots, 2019, they were 8-0. Wild card loss. 3 in a row.
That's true.
49ers, they were also 8-0 in 19. They had the same Super Bowl loss. We remember that one.
Yeah, we do.
Rams, 8-0, Super Bowl loss. Chiefs, and back in 17, 5-0, wild card loss. How about that?
So you don't want to be the last undefeated team is what I'm hearing.
Bet against the Eagles. Do not pick them. Going all the way back to 2015, the last undefeated team. 2015, the Panthers. Remember, they're 14-0. Super Bowl loss.
Yeah.
If I'm an Eagles fan right now, I'm bumming.
That's fair.
I'm bumming. Coming up, we're going to talk all things Champions Classic, and we'll get to Everyone Loves the List. Hour number 2 of Mic'd Up. Jake LeBon, Fulton Caster with you on a Tuesday. Does not feel like a Tuesday, but it is. Thank you so much for joining us. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Let us know on Twitter at SportsOn580, SportsOn580, and on YouTube, SportsOn580. Very simple, very easy. If you want to head to YouTube, you can watch the show as well as you can leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts. Always appreciative on the Big O Tires text line or our YouTube page. We got Everyone Loves the List. Brendan Dorzinski will come on in to talk a little crosstalk. We'll get to some Chiefs, KU, K-State, all of that coming up in just a little bit. But today there's actually basketball that I will be interested in watching. Not KU or K-State versus, somewhere in Midwest or Northern, the United States. They're actually playing a team of note.
That is the mass amount of disrespect to our friend at UTRGV.
UTRGVTS.
It is just UTRGV. Like, it's long enough calling UTRGV. You don't need to extend the joke.
Down south.
They're just the University of Texas, the Rio Grande Valley.
Of Southern Texas.
No, just University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley.
The Jayhawks taking on Duke.
Yeah. Well, Champions Classic action.
There's a lot of injury news to get to be honest with you, in this situation.
Yeah, KU coming down the pipe like a minute ago with some injury news. MJ Rice did not make the trip, the young freshman. He is ill. So he's just sick, so he's not going to be playing tonight. And then Zach Clements in the game against the North Dakota State Bison took a shot to the nose. And because of that injury, he did not make the trip as well. So those two youngsters will be out of the game. So KU down a couple bodies. Now, no disrespect to MJ Rice or Zach Clements. Probably not the biggest blow to the rotation.
No.
With those two being the guys that can't travel.
Yeah. No.
MJ and Zach have been used. I mean, MJ's first appearance of the season was against North Dakota State.
Yeah, not a big deal.
So,
not a big deal. We know about KU, so we'll give you a little info on Duke. Duke, as they've always been, very young. Very young. They got the top 2 recruits in the country, and one of them played his first game last game in Derrick Lively, a 7'1" center. Didn't play many minutes. Had 4 points. And then the second recruit in the country is named, you got a Derrick, and then you've got a Derrick. Oh, I wonder if they go by last names. But it's Derrick Whitehead. He is a 6'6" wing. He is hurt, and he is not going to play. Jeff Goodman tweeted this out. Duke will be without talented freshman Derrick Whitehead against the Kansas Jayhawks in the Champions Classic, source told Stadium. Whitehead is still recovering from a foot injury in the preseason and will make sure he's 100% before making his college debut. So you don't have one of their, seems like it always is every year, one of their freak young freshmen who's a gigantic, long-armed jumping bean. He's not going to play. They've also got the 4th best player in the class in Kyle Filipowski. He's a 6'11" center. And the 22nd best player in the recruiting class in Mark Mitchell. They've got basically all freshmen and like 2 other older upperclassmen. That's basically what they are.
Yeah.
That's the Duke team. Jeremy Roach, if you follow college basketball, you probably remember Jeremy Roach for the Duke Blue Devils. He played in the Final Four last year when UNC beat Duke. And it's Jeremy Roach and freshman.
Yeah.
Jeremy Roach and freshman.
Yeah. Duke is incredibly young. They are basically Jeremy Roach and freshman.
Yes. One other junior maybe plays a little bit here or there, but once and I don't know how much Lively's going to play. This is the game that is intriguing to me. Do you know what the line is?
I know it opened at Duke -1.5 per our friends at FanDuel. I don't know what it has possibly changed to.
It is now -1.5. So it has not changed.
Okay.
KU still a 1.5 point dog. Here's why I find this game interesting is KU to me has much better guard play.
Yes.
Darius Harris, veteran. Jalen Wilson, he's a wing. Veteran. McCullough, veteran. Now, you've got Grady Dick, who's a freshman, along with a bunch of other freshmen for Duke. But the difference is Duke has big men.
Yeah, and Duke has size.
And they've got, Lively is 7'1". Filipowski is 6'11". And they got another big dude who played in the first 2 games more so than Lively, who's 6'11". They're big. They don't have a Mark Williams of last year. If you remember Duke last year, Mark Williams was like 7'1", and just try to dunk everything.
With like an 8'5.5" wingspan.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Mark Williams was awesome.
Yeah, he was fun.
He was great.
Their leading scorer is Mark Mitchell,
Mhm.
the shooting guard, the freshman. And that is what makes this game interesting is the youth of Duke, but they've got so much size. KU has got so much veteran help and veteran players, but they have no size. Now, with Clements not being there, like, I don't know, like, is Jalen Wilson going to guard Filipowski or Lively, or like, what the hell are they going to do without Zach Clements there? Like, I'm very interested in same thing with MJ Rice. Like, what are they going to do defensively? Like, offensively, you spread them out. We know that's what they're going to do. That's simple. What are they going to do defensively?
Yeah, there's two big storylines to this game between KU and Duke this evening. And number one is just how will KU handle Duke's size? Because Duke has true, legitimate, large players. KU's been going with KJ Adams starting at the 5, which makes your tallest player on the floor. Jalen Wilson at 6'8". I think KU will trot that out again and just see if their athleticism can beat out the size. I do not know. I think this is a game where, depending on things go, you could get a lot more Ernest Uday because he is KU's biggest guy at 6'11".
He's gonna have to
He's
play.
6'11" and very long. I imagine that Ernest Uday could be a big X factor for KU.
How much did he play in the previous 2 games?
He had like 14 minutes game 1, and I want to say it was similar to 14 to 17 minutes in game 2. Uday's gotten a decent chunk of run, but nothing what I would call extensive minutes. Let me see how much he played against the Bison here real quick.
I'm trying to load it, but my internet is crazy slow.
All right, so he played he played 12 minutes against North Dakota State. So he's played about 12 and 14.
Yeah, that ain't good.
He's not played a ton.
That
And so
good.
but this might be a game that, Norm Roberts has to throw him into the fire a little bit if they are having issues covering the size of Duke and what they try and do. On the flip side, how are Duke's guards, because they're all young, their ball handlers not named Jeremy Roach are all young.
Now, Jeremy Roach will handle the ball.
Yes, Jeremy Roach
98% of the time.
How will they handle the ball pressure from KU? Because if there's something Bill Self, because as much as Bill Self is suspended at the moment, he's coaching this team up until game days.
Which, by the way,
oh yeah, it's hilarious.
Stupid.
Yeah, Bill Self is still basically coaching this team. Just Norm Roberts does the game day coaching.
That's so dumb.
I completely agree.
That is not a suspension.
I don't disagree. Bill Self's still going to make the game plans and coach all week.
Stupid.
It's not a suspension.
A suspension is you
you're away.
have to be
You're
there
gone.
the entire time.
Yeah.
You have no connection with the team.
Either way,
Dumb.
point notwithstanding.
Correct.
Bill Self has basically given his guards, particularly DeJuan Harris and Kevin McCullough, the green light to pressure ball handlers up the floor. And they are aggressive and very quick with their hands and feet. They will turn you over. Kevin McCullough is incredibly intelligent at lulling you to think you have a passing lane, then breaking it off. How will Duke handle that? Because if Jeremy Roach is being hounded all game, someone needs to help take the pressure off him from a ball handling perspective, and Duke has no one. Like, they do not have a second proven ball handler. So if Duke is not careful, they will turn it over a ton in this game because KU is going to apply a tremendous amount of pressure, which is a way to try and neutralize the size mismatch. You just don't let them have a chance to throw it inside. So those are the two big storylines I'd say coming into this game, and I don't really know what the flat-out solution is for either team. We're also, I think, going to get to see our first chance at really what John Shire can do leading Duke now, because he's coached it mainly like a Coach K type of team.
Correct. These
These first 2 games. But this is his real chance under the lights against a really good team in KU. I mentioned to see what kind of changes he might make if things don't start going well for him against Kansas. But overall, it's just both of these teams are interesting in that they excel at something that can kind of be a big weakness for the other team. Duke has a lot of good size, which is going to be KU's biggest weakness all year until someone like Ernest Uday proves himself. And then Duke's problem is going to be, they're really young, so experienced teams can speed them up and get them into mistakes. And that's what KU can do really well with the way that they're built defensively. Plus, KU loves to run their offense through pick and roll action this year based on what kind of players they have. Duke in their first 2 games has struggled against lesser competition in those sets and being put in those situations. Both of this game will do a great job at telling us what each team really needs to fix. Now, the result of this game will probably not mean much by what the time comes the season ends. We have seen teams get blown out in the Champions Classic and go on to make deep tournament runs. We've seen teams blow other teams out in the Champions Classic, and then that team falters down the stretch. There's nothing really to take away from the win-loss result of this game because it's also going to be such a quality loss for whatever teams lose that it won't affect their tournament standing that much. And again, there's so much of a season left to play. But this will be a great test if you do want to watch this game tonight, and I implore you to do it. It's going to be a fantastic matchup. What you need to try and take away is just what does each team struggle at in this game? What weakness gets exposed? So then you kind of know going forward what each team needs to fix. But no matter what, I think 1.5 is a great point for this line to be. This is going to be, I will be stunned if either team blows out the other. Like, I don't think Kansas gets blown out. I don't think KU blows the doors off Duke. I think this is 40 minutes of just a very hotly contested ball game, which will stretch into like 11:30 p.m. because the first game of the evening between Michigan State and Kentucky is going to take 20 years. Because this is the Champions Classic goes every year. It's nice to be the main event, but I like it when KU gets to play first because then I know exactly when they're starting. I don't have to wait. I mean, it's at 6:30. I got to watch it at 6:30. This tip is set for 8:30. They're not tipping till 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that means the game ain't
no
getting,
chance. It's a late. If you're going to watch this game, it's going to be a late night.
It'll be like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it'll be like 11:30 when this thing's over, which is fine with me. But I know other people, like Jake.
He said other people, not looking at me.
Like other people, not the guys sitting across from me. Yeah, it's going to be a late night. If you missed part of it, I'll make sure to keep you updated on what happens. I'll recap you in the morning.
I'm leaning KU because they're just so young for Duke.
I would also lean, like, I'm taking the KU glasses off as much as I can.
You can't.
As I said, as much as I can.
Okay. At least you admit it.
Yeah, as much as I can. I know they're hanging on the bridge of the nose here.
Okay.
I think Kansas's experience
I agree.
is what's going to pull this one out because Duke is just so young and KU plays such intense pressuring defense. I think they're going to force Duke into too many mistakes. I think Jeremy Arch is going to have to go to somebody else to relieve a little bit of pressure on ball handling, and whoever he does it to, they are going to. I mean, Kevin McCullough, Dwan Harris is going to put them in the torture chamber for 40 minutes of just have fun, bud. I'm going to be in your hip pocket for 40 minutes.
I think KU wins, but I just am more so intrigued on what KU is going to do against a big man.
Yeah, that is. Like, I'm intrigued to see how KU handles 2 dudes with legit size, and
they'll have somebody at 7 foot at all times. You know, if Filipowski's not in there, then they'll bring in Lively in. So like, how are they going to do that? Is you know, Uday gonna be? I just don't know. And
even if they do go with Ernest Uday for a good 2 minutes, how does he play? We don't know what he'll do against this.
And that's the only weakness to me that this team has. Is at the 4 and the 5, but really not the 4 because I think Jalen Wilson can hold his own.
Yeah, Jalen can defend much bigger guys fairly well.
KU should rebound better than what they are because they do go. At the 2 is McCullough. At the 3 is Dick. At the 4 is Wilson. Every one of those guys is 6'6" or above, and they're crazy athletic. Get a damn rebound.
They should. It is also worth noting. I'm glad you brought that up. Duke is through 2 games the best offensive rebounding team in the country, which is also noting how does KU do on the glass with a lack of size. But someone like Jalen Wilson, he stands at 6'8", but he's been a very good rebounder for his career. Because rebounding is not always about size. It's about want to. We've been about that a lot. Rebounding is a big part about just want to.
Yes, just go get the ball. From the Big O Tires text line, I hope I have enough beer to last until 11. You go get some more.
Yeah, let's say make a beer run.
All right. From the 785, love the UTRGVTS continuing joke. Cracks me up every time. Exactly.
Oh, Jake's got a fan of the bit. That's good. I'm glad someone's enjoying the jokes we throw out around here.
Yeah, UT, RGV, ODT, down Texas or down south. Like, it's like an 8-letter, acronym. If your letters are that long, you need to rebrand.
That's true. They need to just be Rio Grande.
Yeah, just call them Rio Grande. And then they're like, they should always play. Who is it? Is it Duran Duran? Her name is Rio, and she dance. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know if that's Duran Duran. I know the song. I have no idea.
I think that's
Duran Duran. I know exactly the song you're thinking of.
I think it's Duran Duran.
I couldn't tell you though. I could not tell you. Is it Duran Duran?
It is Duran
All
Duran.
All right, perfect.
Yep.
Like, I know what it is. I just could not tell this Duran Duran.
Yep.
Even better.
Weird flex there, but whatever. Coming up next, everyone loves the list. Burger toppings here on Mic'd Up. Everyone loves the list on a Tuesday. Very simple. Burger toppings. Now, it can be anything you want to put on a burger.
Yes.
Do you want to include ketchup? Put ketchup on there.
Condiments count.
Yes. Do you lump condiments just as condiments?
No, it's specific condiments.
Okay.
Because, like, I don't put ketchup on a burger, but I put different things on a burger. I put different condiments.
Okay.
They're not in my top 4, but
you don't put ketchup on your burger?
No, I'm not a ketchup guy.
I like ketchup on my burger.
I'm not a ketchup in any context guy.
I do think depending upon, like, I didn't put ketchup I didn't put any condiments on my list.
Neither did I.
And the reason why is I don't consider them, I don't know. I just don't consider them a topping.
I agree. No, I agree.
You know, like,
I'm with you.
I put ketchup on every burger.
Yeah.
Like, I would put ketchup on every single burger.
For me, toppings are things that usually come on a more specialty or specific style, not your generic cheeseburger.
Okay.
Easily. Number 4
No,
for
not
me.
cheeseburger, just burger, because of cheese
That is fair.
topping.
That is fair. Number 4 for me, very simple, very basic, but it is a good burger topping. Bacon. Bacon's a good burger topping.
Okay.
Excellent choice.
Number 4 for me is an egg.
What type of egg we talking here?
I like the over easy egg.
Okay.
So you bite
into
into
yolk
it,
getting out there.
and then the yolk, but you got to be careful because it'll drain on you.
That's true. Number 3 for me, I'm right there with you, Jake. It's a good fried egg. I like mine closer to over medium, over hard, a little bit less runny yolk, not the full easy, but a good fried egg is fantastic on a burger.
Number 3 for me, I love a good onion ring on a burger. Onion ring, onion straw. I kind of combine those two. I do like a good onion ring on a burger.
Jake, you and I are in a perfect lockstep here. My number 2 is onion rings.
Okay.
Onion ring on a burger is one of the greatest things you could ever do.
Number 2 is cheese.
Okay. You put cheese as a topping. I did not. Yeah. That's fair.
Oh, cheese is definitely a topping.
It just generically comes on all of mine, so I just don't leave it as a topping anymore.
Yeah, cheese,
just there.
You gotta have cheese, and I can do a lot of different toppings for cheese.
Cheese must be on there. I have to point that out. It's not on the list, but it must be on any burger that I do have. Number 1 for me, though, caramelized onions. I will forever love any burger that puts me some good caramelized onions on there. Right. Oh, it's perfect.
Number 1, it's bacon. Bacon is number 1 with a bullet. Love bacon. Coming up next, we'll talk with Brendan Dworzynski, a little CrossTalk here on Mic'd Up. Welcome back into Mic'd Up. Jake Levon, Fulton Caster with you on a Tuesday. That is right. Right now, we are going to bring in 580 Sports Talks, Brendan Dworzinski. Brendan, how are you doing on this Tuesday afternoon?
I'm doing well. I just got done watching the quarterback draft announcement for the XFL. My beloved St. Louis Battlehawks, hashtag clear to engage, caca is the law, just drafted former Kansas Jayhawk Ryan Willis, which is very funny. Everything about that is very funny. And also AJ McCarron.
That's less funny.
AJ McCarron.
Yeah. It's not quite my guy, Jordan Ta'amu, but I'll take it.
I just...
The full draft is tomorrow.
I can't get into that. I can't get into the XFL when Ryan Willis is like a feature guy.
He's probably QB2. I assume AJ McCarron will start.
Like, first of all, I love the XFL because it's going to give a lot of guys still a chance.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I love the XFL. Absolutely love it. You know, D2 guys get a chance to maybe continue their career. Love the XFL.
Mm-hmm.
But I will not watch a single snap of it. Which, if you love it, you know, you should watch it, right?
See, I mean, I get what you're saying. You like the idea of it.
I love the idea. I just want more people to stay away from the real world as much as possible.
No, I hear you.
So I hope it works. I hope The Rock can get it rolling.
They named a team for him.
They did. It's awesome.
Yeah, they're the Brahmas, like the Brahma Bull.
Yeah.
They changed a couple names and they moved a couple teams. The Guardians are no longer in New York. They're in Orlando.
Okay, smart.
The Vipers are no longer in Tampa. They're now in Vegas. And the Seattle Dragons, this is the funniest part of the Renegades used to be Dallas. Now they're the Arlington Renegades. They already played in Arlington. So why even bother changing? The the Seattle Dragons are now the Seattle Sea Dragons.
Nice.
They just really, you know what? The Seahawks are hot in the streets right now.
Yeah,
let's just steal from their name.
I'm all right with that. So I'm very pro XFL, but I will not watch a single second.
That's fair.
Not watch a single second.
I'll watch enough for all of us.
Yeah,
are you picking a team?
I need to. I'm going to do the usual thing I do with these leagues. Go through all the quarterbacks and find which team is the quarterbacks I like the most.
See, what they need to do, I've said this before. I said this when we talked about the XFL a few weeks ago on 580 Sports Talk. You cannot have 2 spring leagues. There's not enough quarterback talent. There's not enough talent, period.
There's not enough quarterback talent in the NFL.
In the NFL, yeah. Just take like the 5 best names from the XFL, the 5 best names from the USFL, make the USXFL Incorporated Limited LLC, put it all together, and just have one gigantic pool. Then you might actually get a decent product.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
You can't have 16 spring teams. There's not enough quarterbacks for that.
No.
What was your number 1 burger topping?
Bacon.
Were you including cheese? Was that a built-in?
Cheese is number 2.
No,
okay.
For Jake, it was separate. For me, it was built.
So you just figured it was built
because I think a burger without cheese is just useless.
The only burger I eat without cheese regularly is a Whopper. I do not get a Whopper.
If I'm eating a Whopper, I get cheese on it.
I don't.
Burgers without cheese are not good.
Man, bacon's good. Bacon's up there. But every burger I eat has tomato. Not every burger I eat has bacon. Every one I eat has tomato.
Fair enough.
I'm going to tell you this. Brendan, you and I have been lockstep in a lot of things.
Yes.
Brendan.
I'm scared of where this is going.
Brendan.
So am I.
Do you not like tomato?
Turn off your microphone. Like, tomato?
Every burger I eat.
Gosh.
I got to have tomato. I guess if it is not, like, I don't think Culver's has tomato on it. So if I get just a regular burger there, I won't. But if I'm making them at home, tomato.
What's your stance on tomatoes?
I do not like tomatoes.
Okay.
I dislike most tomato-based products. There are very few tomato-based products that I enjoy.
If I was just going to make a basic burger, like at home, maybe grilled a few, if I was going to make that, it'd be cheddar cheese, tomato, pickle, bacon.
Okay.
That's what I would go with.
Okay. That's fair.
So yeah, bacon's on the list. If we're taking it in terms of like just pure taste, that's probably number 1. But I always put tomato and almost always put pickle on.
Tomato. Oof.
Love tomato.
Gotta X-nay that one. Before we get to plenty of Chiefs talk, who guards all the Duke bigs tonight? Because that is my biggest. I'm interested because I think KU has got 3 really good players and then a terrific 4th role player. I think KU is going to have McCullough, who's a really good player. Dick, really good player. Wilson, really good player. Harris, great role player.
That's fair.
Okay.
Really good defender.
I don't think he's a really good player because I don't think if he could shoot it, he'd be a really good player. But I'm
pretty sure he's 50% on 3 so far.
And that's early on.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But KJ Adams, who's he going to guard? Like, Duke is huge. I mean, Lively's 7 foot. Filipowski's 6'11". They got another dude. Like, what are they going to do at that spot? Do you put Wilson there? Is Uday going to do that? Like,
honest
what
to God,
are they going to do?
I think the matchup is you have KJ Adams guard the 4, you have Kevin McCullough guard the 5. I'm just seriously, like, I'm putting my bet.
That's nice to have.
I'm going to roll the dice with Wilson at the 3 defensively as much as I can. Adams is a good defender. Good activity, handsy, good defender. He was the defensive spark plug in the Elite 8 and the national championship game, although it worked better in one of those games than the other. I think you put him at the 4. I think you just say our best defender is going to guard the 5, and we're going to roll with it. I don't, Duke's got size. Duke's obviously got natural God-given talent. I don't know that Duke's, I don't know how good they're going to be. I don't know.
We're going to find out a lot about Duke. Yeah. I think we know what KU is. I know what KU is.
Now, more interesting to me, because this game, if you win, great. If you lose, I mean, 3rd game of the season, you don't really know exactly what you are, what your final rotation will look like. I'm more interested in what Uday's minutes are going to look like.
See, that's why I'm interested in this game. Is this is the only weakness to me for KU is big dudes who are good. They've got big dudes. I think they'll be good. I wouldn't want to see Lively or Whitehead or Filipowski in March because they could be completely different players for Duke. But I think getting them right now is a great thing.
Yeah.
But this is the one question about KU. Like 1 through 4, they are very good. And as Fulton noted this, Duke crashes the glass.
Mm-hmm.
KU does not.
Does not. No.
Does not. And they should, because McCullough is a 6'6" athletic machine. Grady Dick is 6'8" athletic. Jalen Wilson, 6'8". He does rebound.
You're damn right he does.
So you've got 3 of your 5 guys who are 6'6" or above and are crazy athletic, yet you can't rebound. That's embarrassing. And what stinks is at the 5, you've got KJ Adams, who, if he would be playing the 3, would be a terrific rebounder at the 3, but he's not a terrific rebounder because he's 6'4".
Adams is 6'7".
Who?
KJ Adams.
KJ Adams,
6'7".
Yeah.
I mean,
he also can't play. He's not an offensive player, so he also can't play the 3 for that reason.
But I'm interested. This will be a game that I will watch when it comes to college basketball, because KU has a chance to be very good, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on KU. It's just unfortunate that their big man is like, this is when Zach Clements could be helpful.
See, I'm going to disagree with you on that. Zach Clements couldn't get off the bench against Pittsburgh State.
Brendan is correct.
Like, in theory,
like
Zach
he's
Clements should be awesome. In practice, when was the last time last season Zach Clements played meaningful minutes?
He hit that one big 3.
It was the Oklahoma game. He was the Tanner Groves stopper, because Tanner Groves is not an especially physical player, but he's a great step out big man. Clements, similar kind of player.
Yeah.
Zach Clements couldn't get on the floor against Pitt State. He couldn't get on the floor against Omaha. He barely played minutes at all versus North Dakota State.
But the reason he's not even available, like,
well, yeah, he's not going to play in this game. Period.
He didn't travel, but
neither did MJ Rice. That stinks. I really wanted to see more MJ Rice.
That's what I'll be watching tonight. I think that's going to be
it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
A fun basketball game that will start at 9:00, and I will be tired and probably fall asleep. So
I'm really excited about Uday long term. I just don't know about tonight.
I think KU's going to win. I think KU's going to win.
Yeah, I think the thing offensively, because you said the one major concern you have about KU, I've got 2. The big man is the biggest,
obviously.
The other one is consistent shooting. Who on the team is a consistent shooter outside of Grady Dick? Wilson looks like he's getting there.
Now, you just told me Harris is 50%.
Well, yes. He's also taken 2, one in each game, in which he has been completely unguarded. But, Harris, not a shooter. McCullough has not really done that so far this season. He's never been a great shooter. He's okay. He's serviceable, but he's not great.
Yeah.
Off the bench, if Clements isn't playing, we know Clements is happy to shoot, but he is not playing so far this year. And he, again, didn't travel for tonight's game. MJ Rice, don't know if that's going to be a part of his game. I mean, they don't have shooting. Spacing is going to be a problem with this team. Now, if Wilson continues to shoot 37 to 40% this year, that is going to be quelled quite a bit. And then I will feel better about that, but not quite there yet. I think it'll be a close game. I think my final prediction I gave this morning was 72-21 72-71 KU. Give me a 1 point. I mean, it's a toss-up game, but I think it'll be fun.
I mean, it's this 1.5 point spread.
Hopefully it is a bit of a better game than we've gotten the last few years, because both teams have played a little bit so far. Because normally you get the season opener and it's, Jesus, KU turning the ball over 28 times the last time these two teams played. That was awful.
No, the last time these two teams played, wasn't that the Quentin Grimes game?
No, Grimes was against Michigan State.
Okay.
Yeah, time flies. No, the KU Duke last meeting in 2020, that was 28 turnovers.
Yeah.
He's like, man, Dotson, you look incredible, except for the 12 turnovers you committed.
Yeah, that is
like, hold the ball.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right. The Kansas City Chiefs
are a professional football team.
No, the Kansas City Chiefs have already moved on to Tony over Sky Moore. Yes or no?
Yeah, I think so. Not and for this year, that's not to say that he's written off, but I think that's clear. I mean, in one game, you had more plays designed to get Kadarius Toney involved than you have all year with Sky Moore.
Does that say more about Tony or more? I think, to me, that says more about Kadarius Toney.
I think it's probably more about Tony. I would say it's more about Tony because this was the case with Moore before Tony was there. I mean, he already, I don't know if it's just slow to get the playbook or if he's just, trying to figure things out, the mental side of the game. I don't know. Hopefully he'll be okay. But when McCole Hardman was your super athlete receiver, this was what Sky Moore was doing, which is effectively nothing, playing like 5 snaps offensively. Tony, I think the Chiefs just love his profile and his skill set enough. They made an effort to get him involved more. So I would agree. I was kind of on the fence there at first, but I think you're right. I think it's more about Tony and what he offers versus where Sky Moore is right now. Now, that's not to say I wouldn't like to see more from Sky Moore, but I just don't really think we're going to at this point.
This is why I was very excited about the Tony trade. Same reason why I was excited about the Juju signing. Now, Fulton's been so annoyed at I've been on Team Juju for a while.
Oh, I haven't been annoyed. Annoyed is not the right word to use here.
Okay. Well, because I push Juju a lot.
You do.
That's why I was excited about Tony. I think a lot of people, and fans included, don't think about fit and scheme and where you're located. Juju. He had, honestly, a shot putter throwing him the football for 2 years.
He had me playing quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. That's. I mean, you're better than a shot putter.
Wow, thanks.
You are. You're in New York. Daniel Jones sucks. I'm sorry. What the Giants are doing, paper tigers, okay? I do not believe in the Giants. All right? I believe in the Jets more than the Giants. But
interesting.
Yeah, I'm not a Giant.
Interesting.
I just don't like Daniel Jones.
I feel a different debate brewing.
I don't like Daniel Jones the thrower, but I like Daniel Jones the runner. My difference between the Giants and Jets is I don't like Zach Wilson the thrower or the runner.
Well, I just don't think I don't think either. But
Daniel Jones ain't going to be around.
I just think Kadarius Toney's like, oh great, I got a runner at quarterback who throws it 15 times a game. He didn't want that.
Well, here's the other thing.
It was so toxic there. So he comes over here. What? Andy Reid? I'm on a what?
See, I think it's even more off the field than that. I think Kadarius Toney is a total weirdo. Like, I think Kadarius Toney is a very weird person. But what?
See, I don't know that because I don't know him.
Yeah, have you checked out his rap?
No, I don't know. I don't.
Fake fan. You haven't listened to Young Joka or Lil Joka or whatever the hell he is?
Wait, he has a name?
Yeah. No, that is his pinned tweet on his Twitter is the release of his second rap album.
He's got a second album?
Yes. Yeah, I think Kadarius Toney's a weirdo. Like, I just think he's a strange guy. But what team? You want to talk about fit?
Are we talking like Sammy Watkins strange?
No, because I think Sammy Watkins
he's a lizard king.
I think he's in a cult. In fact, it's not really a thing. Like, I'm almost positive that he is in a cult. Praise Amen. I just think Tony's like a strange gentleman. Yeah, Young Joka, and his album art has a parental advisory on it, and his pants pulled down like to his quads. Warrior 2, not to be confused with Warrior 1, which I assume was his first album. But what team in the NFL does a better job of bringing together different personalities and, mindsets and whatever, and making them all work and still believe in one solid central thing better than the Chiefs? Nobody does that.
I think winning and having the best player and a really good coach helps.
It does. But I mean, Andy Reid's done that since he was in Philly too. I mean, some of those Philly teams he coached had some personalities on them.
And that's why I think this is all about Tony. There was a reason why he was a first round pick. He was Now, did some people think he deserved to go 19? Probably not.
No.
But if he was there at pick number 26 or 7, he's getting taken. So he is a bona fide, no question, first round talent. You put that in with Travis Kelce and Juju and Mahomes and Reed. How does it not work? that's why I was excited about it. I really, really was. So I think the Chiefs were a perfect fit for Kadarius Toney, just football wise, not young
Joker. Young without an O. YUNG. Joka. JOKA.
Yeah, okay.
He's got a SoundCloud page, in case you're curious. Young Joka is an up-and-coming rapper from Mobile, Alabama, known for his melodic and soft-textured voice, similar to Gunna. I know you're a huge Gunna fan. With a splash of Young Thug. In his songs, he speaks about facing different adversities and deaths along the way in his lifetime.
Oh, we got to start bumping some of this.
No, we don't, because it is not probably no.
No, off the air.
Okay.
Off the air. We are not bumping this on the air.
No, absolutely not.
He's got 2 tracks from his second album that have at least 10,000 plays on SoundCloud, including Some to Prove and Codeine Dream. Man, don't be singing that one around the locker room there,
no.
Darius. Hood Legend. You heard that track? That's a banger.
Is it?
I don't know. No chance I have listened
All
to
I know
this.
is that we sang a brief snippet of Rio by
great song.
Duran Duran on the air. More so
She
than
dances on the sand.
Young Joka. Brandon, we appreciate the time.
Talk to you guys at 3:00.
Brandon Rosinski, Dan Lucero coming up at 3:00 with 580 Sports Talk. Coming up, we got lots more here on Mic'd Up. It is the final hour of Mic'd Up on this Tuesday. Jake LeBon, Fulton Caster with you. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Check us out on Twitter at SportsOn580 and on YouTube. Very simple. Go to youtube.com. You can just search SportsOn580 or /at SportsOn580. Very simple, very easy if you want to get in touch with us here on the show. We've got another edition of Odds Makers. Fulton?
Jake.
I got another question that's going to be a repeat question going forward.
Oh, boy.
Because you do not have a whole lot of faith in the Jayhawks getting to a bowl game with 4 games to go.
My faith was waning. I will admit that.
I'll admit that. That scar tissue from 09 is real.
Yes!
It was real.
They lost 7 in a row.
It was real.
There's no guarantee.
But I told you back when they started 5-0, I said, Fulton, ain't going to happen a second time. Flipping heads 7 straight times doesn't happen. Not twice.
And ELAL actually flipped heads 10 straight times because they lost 3 in a row after starting 5-0. So you have the 7 straight thus, and they started 5-0, then started 5-0 again, lost 3 straight. And away, that's heads 10 straight times.
Yeah, but it's different coaching staff, different era.
Not fair.
That's not quite. I get where
I'm coming from.
You went simple X's and O's.
Yeah.
I threw in a little, a variable of different coaches does matter. As we found out, coaching
I
matters.
went 3rd grade arithmetic. You went into some, beginning algebra.
Yeah, you went the transitive property.
Yeah, a little bit.
A beats B, then obviously A beats C, B, C. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, the good old transitive property.
We got there.
That was always my favorite thing. Hey, they beat. Was it? Is there a way that you can get KU beat? There probably is. There's got to be. KU beat Oklahoma State, who beat.
Oh yeah, I can find you the exact website that does this for you. If
Texas,
you give me a second.
That beat. So and so that beat Alabama or something like that. You always got to love that. How many degrees of separation is that? Is that right?
What team? So who do you want KU to be better than? The website is myteamisbetterthanyourteam.com. Who do you want KU to say they've beaten? We can see if we can find a way.
Can they get to Tennessee? Can they? I don't think they can, because Georgia hasn't been beaten. Nope, they can't. You can't get there.
Jake, here is how Kansas is better than Tennessee. Kansas beat West Virginia.
Yeah.
West Virginia beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma's better than Georgia. This is where we get a little confusing here, because Oklahoma beat Kent State 33-3, where Georgia only beat them 39-22.
Okay, so
and then Georgia beat Tennessee. They have a way to get to anything you want. I forgot about this. This is beautiful.
They use margin of victory.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma's better than Georgia just simply because Oklahoma beat Kent State better. Anyone else you want to see if KU's better than?
Oh yeah, how do they go KU to K-State? This is hysterical. What is this website?
This is myteamisbetterthanyourteam.com.
This is incredible.
It is home of the Transitive Property National Championship poll. Also, if you want to know how Kansas is better than Kansas State, it's really simple, Jake. Kansas beat Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State beat Texas. Texas beat Kansas State. Therefore, Kansas beats Kansas State.
Wait, say that again?
Kansas beat Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State beat Texas. Texas beat K-State.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Kansas is better than Kansas State. Therefore, they're better than Kansas State in 3 rounds by a combined score of 112-77.
So how is K-State better than KU?
Luckily, they have an "oh yeah, we'll flip it" button. So I just got to click that. Kansas State is better than KU because Kansas State beat Oklahoma and Oklahoma beat Kansas.
No, very simple, right?
Very simple one. This, I legitimately.
I did not know about
legitimately. I cannot remember. I'm so sorry to whatever friend that I know that introduced me to this website. I'm so sorry. I cannot remember who of my friends told me about this. But yeah, it's if you ever want to mess around. I know that for college football. I think they also have it for men's basketball and women's basketball. If you want to figure it out, it's just myteamisbetterthanyourteam.com. You just search it, and there was a way to find Kansas is better than Alabama a few years ago when Kansas was bad and Alabama was good. There is a way to now. There is chances they can't do this. Like they'll have a little thing that says, "Sorry, we can't find a way." But if there is a way, they'll find it. Also, you can go back to 2006.
That's pretty good. I like it. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I'm happy to have taught everyone about this great website
That's
today.
Pretty funny.
It's a rabbit hole, man. It is a rabbit hole.
Well, that's really not a rabbit hole. They do all the rabbit hole work for you.
Yeah, but then you get to sit here for hours just be like, ooh, how is this better than this? And how big of steps can we start getting here?
Yeah. Another good website for those wondering who wants to check, like series like KU K-State or KU Texas. Go to Winsipedia.
Mm-hmm.
Really good site that's got, every single game in graph form and scores and losing streaks, winning streaks, and all that kind of stuff. Winsipedia. It's a good one. It really is. The NFL had another egregious error yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
Monday Night Football. Eagles lost the very first game of the year. Lost to the Commanders. They lost the game because the Commanders had 21 third down attempts, and they converted 12 of them. That's incredible. But a key point in the game. There's a pass to Dallas Goedert. He catches it. He turns upfield. He gets tackled. He gets grabbed by the face mask. No call. Blatant face mask. Like, he fumbles. I think there's a real strong correlation between getting your face mask grabbed that much and fumbling the football. They ruled him down. They reviewed it, and he ended up fumbling. The best part about this is they get to watch. The head referee gets to watch his crew miss a blatant face mask. Blatant face mask. How they missed that, I have no clue. And it's funny because as you're watching the game, they're going, wow, they get to see this face mask. But what sucks is you can't call that. That's not reviewable. Because if they call the face mask, the play does not stand. The Eagles keep the football.
Yeah, the face mask penalty wipes out the fumble.
Exactly. Because it's
penalties wipe out turnovers.
Yeah, well, it would have been a penalty on,
Yeah, a penalty on the team recovering from the turnover wipes it out.
If this is a holding call on the Eagles, then they decline.
Yeah, they decline. Yeah.
So they keep football. Kind of a big deal.
And very important.
Kind of a big deal.
Very important.
So, and we know those are the rules. Now, do I think it's absolutely asinine that you can't say, oh, he clearly grabbed his face mask on a review, but they don't allow that in the NFL?
Which is stupid.
The pool reporter got to talk to the head official, Tony Kemp. Question. On Dallas Goedert's fumble, what was seen there and why was no face mask called on the play? Before we get to his answer, we missed it, right? Obviously, during the field and watching the ball carrier and the tackler, they missed it. Here's what Kemp had to say. Quote, we didn't see a face mask on the field. As far as the review, we were reviewing whether he was down by contact or whether it was a fumble and whether the Washington player who recovered the ball was also down by contact. No one is arguing about whether he was down or not. He was, or he wasn't. It was a fumble.
Yeah.
It was a fumble. But what was asked was, why was there no face mask called on the play? And the head referee, on the record, this is legit on the record stuff, all right? This isn't like a talk show host or anything like that. This is documented by a pool reporter with the NFL. We didn't see a face mask on the field. Are you bleeping kidding me? Are you serious? Why can't you just say, we missed it? Yes, there was a face mask penalty. We did not throw the flag. Our bad. My fault. It is okay to say that, officials. It really is. Because with this answer that's on the record, no questions asked, by a guy who's getting paid $500,000 a year in a $20 billion industry, we didn't see a face mask. Then you should be fired. You're watching it on replay. You literally are watching it going back and forth, back and forth. Or honestly, forth and back, forth and back. Oh, okay. Is his knee down? No. Is his knee down? You're telling me you are that incompetent or that blind that you didn't see that. And if that's the case, then you shouldn't be making calls on an NFL game because you can't see anything. Your peripheral vision or your focus or whatever it is, you are that terrible, that bad, that you're watching a play and you cannot see the face mask. If this was live, like, I give him a pass. Missed calls happen. I'm not upset that the official missed the face mask. I mean, should they have gotten it right? Yes. How many people are watching the ball at all times? 4 or 5 of them. The guy was tackling the ball carrier with his hand in his face mask. But sometimes calls are missed, right? Sometimes they are. You're reviewing it. You're watching it at least 10 times over, and you don't even see that. If that's the case, you're incompetent, and you shouldn't be calling it because you can't see anything. Or 2, you're lying. You're lying because you did see it, and then you, on record, said, we didn't see a face. Then you're lying. Now I can't trust you because you bold-faced lied. Get the hell out, Tony Kemp. Get out. You should be fired. And this is the problem with NFL officials, is they didn't see a face mask on review. What the hell are you looking at? No accountability whatsoever. A simple thing. This is all I want from them. We missed it. We got that one wrong.
Yeah, a simple. We missed the call on the field. We saw it on replay. Yeah. But because we saw it there, we can't change it.
Or Angel Hernandez as an umpire. We missed the call. I missed it. My bad. Not. Don't talk back to me. You're out of here. So, because you're so terrible at your job that I can't at least come and talk to you about it? Because there are multiple times where an official or an umpire at the pro level just simply will not even talk to a coach. They won't. If you get it wrong, if you are that official and that coach wants to ream you because you got it wrong and there's video proof of you getting it wrong, then you have to stand there and you have to take it because you got it wrong. This is the problem with the NFL. Same thing. In the game against the Minnesota Vikings, pool reporter was asked, how come you didn't call a flag with 12 men? We didn't see 12 men on the field. Then you guys should be at least in trouble because that is 12 men. It's simply counting to 12.
There is an official's job on the back line who it is to count the amount of players on the field.
I don't care that they were going fast. That is your job. You don't just, like, Fulton, I wouldn't expect you to be able to count 12 men on the football field tomorrow that quickly. But guess what? These officials don't just come right from a broadcast booth. They've been doing it at high school. They've been doing it at college, and they get to the NFL.
At that experience level,
what is going on.
Exactly. At that experience level, you know your first job is to make sure that there are only 11 men on the field. You count that.
You count it.
And to be honest, even if you're like, oh, I finished counting as the play's going, you throw the flag after. We've had plenty of flags for 12 men be called as the play is going.
It does not matter if it's finished. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, crap, there's 12 men on the field.
You call and say, on the previous play, there were 12 men on the field. It's a penalty.
Yeah. So, like,
No, I agree.
just admit it. Just say we got it wrong, but also there's no accountability. Nothing will happen with that official last night. Nothing will happen with the 12 men on the field. The replay official in the booth against the Vikings and the Bills, who blatantly missed a dropped pass. Nothing will happen to them. They get paid $500,000 to work half the year, and of half the year, it is 4 hours of actual, like, intense work. Because other than that, it's some film study here, film study there, and I hear people say, well, they get reamed by the NFL. No, they don't. Getting reamed. Big deal. Do you think they care about getting reamed? Are they going to affect their? Are they going to change where they play or where they ref? What their salaries? Do they get suspended? Do they get fined? Like, that is a problem. This is a huge problem in the NFL right now. Like, and the sheer fact that the whole goal of replay is to get it right. That's the whole goal. That is the whole entire goal of replay. We have technology to get it right. You could have gotten that play right. You missed a bona fide face mask penalty. Why can't you make that change?
I've said this once, and I'll say it a million times. If you have replay technology for your games and you are willing to institute it, every single play is reviewable.
That's what college football does. Every play is reviewable in college football. Every play. That's why they stop the play.
To me, in any sport, there is no such thing as a non-reviewable play because you have the technology to get the call right. Like, you should not be in a case of, well, I'm watching a blatant face mask on replay, but because the rule book says it's not reviewable, I can't change it. No, you need to get the play right. Like, baseball has certain plays that are unreviewable, and that's ridiculous. Every play, if you have replay technology and you have replay challenges instituted in your game now, every single play is reviewable. You don't increase number of challenges. You don't change anything in that system. But everything's reviewable. So that way, if you are on review, and also more importantly, if you're reviewing a play and you see something you missed that was in the flow of the game, you need to have the power and the ability to then say, in the course of the review, we identified a thing. You know? There should have been an ability to say, upon review, the runner was not down by contact. The ball was loose. However, there was a face mask penalty that is a 15-yard penalty on the Commanders, therefore negates the fumble. First down, Philadelphia. We all move on. That is the full correct application of that series of events. But because the rule book says you can't review a penalty.
Makes no sense.
And that's the part, because you're right. The crux of replay, at the heart of it, since we have created it and put it in these games, is to get plays right. Well, that doesn't stop at, does a runner down by contact? That doesn't stop at, well, we can't review penalties. Getting it right means anything and everything's on the board, so to the best of our ability, we can get it right. And if a play is still ticky-tack, I'm cool with you don't change it. That even goes for fouls. If it would have been like there was a light graze and you can't tell if he grabbed the face mask, I'm cool with saying it was close but no cigar. You don't add a flag to it. But that one was a blatant grab and pull. That's a 15-yard penalty that altered to a level the outcome of a game. And the true part of it is there's little accountability, because when was the last time anyone ever heard of an official getting fired for bad conduct? When? And yet we're complaining about these guys constantly.
No,
ever since the replacement ref fiasco, the referee's power grew immensely. Because as much as we dislike these current refs, we know the alternative is legitimately worse. And instead of the NFL using that to, all right, we just need to get a little bit stronger in and really trying to make sure these guys do their job right, it was, well, now we just have to cater to them because what's below them is even worse. And it's not the right way. And it's ridiculous. And it's never going to change. We can huff and we can puff about this, and knowing us, we will. We're going to bring these things up because we care about these things being done right. But no one hold your breath that officiating is ever going to be fixed. And it never will.
The reason why is because they are a $20 billion industry.
There is no reason professional sports officials, and that's going to be very clear, professional level officials, there is no reason for them to miss the amount of calls that they miss. And the ones that they miss, it's one thing to miss a very ticky-tack and close to the line call.
But I agree with you, but I will say this. If you have a repeated behavior,
that too, if you're constantly missing it,
then you shouldn't be doing it. That is my biggest that's my biggest problem. Calls are missed. The face mask penalty. Calls are missed. That happens. But if you keep doing it, you know, and you know, you reference Angel Hernandez. Like, Angel Hernandez is the worst umpire in calling balls and strikes in Major League Baseball. He is the worst. It is a statistical number. He shouldn't be doing anymore. If he wants to be out in the field, so be it. But he shouldn't be behind the plate because he is so bad at what he does. That is my problem. My problem is that, not that a guy misses a call. You know, oh, you missed a holding call.
It's the repeated employment of guys that continue to miss calls.
The fact that you didn't admit it, like you blatantly said, we didn't see a face mask. How is that? You're lying. He's lying. Like, he went on record lying. Like, if he was under oath, if they took this to a court and said, did you see a face mask when you watched the review? And he said no, then he is so terrible at watching watching a play that he shouldn't have his job. Like, there's no way. Like, I could have my wife watch the play. Just I'd rewind it. She's not here. I know she's gone working. But I was like, I even sent my wife a text. I was like, I wish you were here right now. And she said, why? I was just going to show you a play and I wanted you to tell me about it. And she would say, the first thing that she would say watching that film was, oh, wow, he grabbed his face mask. That's the first thing that she would say. Then she would go, oh, there's a fumble. Oh, his knee wasn't down. If my wife, who is a casual observer, can notice that, but an official who's done this his entire life, there was no face mask. Like, I would even have been okay if he said we weren't looking for a face mask. He said there was no face mask. Like, point blank on the record, we didn't see a face mask. You got to be fired. That would be like you dropping the F-bomb on the air and me saying, Fulton, did you swear on the air? And you're like, no, I didn't. And I went back into our air checks and I heard you say the F word, right? I'm like, I hear it. Did you say it? And you're like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, of course not.
You're fired.
And
that's it's not hard.
That's the biggest thing for me at this point is we have certain guys who we know are bad at this job. In what other line of work can you be this bad, face this much criticism, and be this openly and factually bad at your work and retain your position of employment?
Yeah.
That's my other thing. It's like, at the end of the day, this is a job. That's all it is. It's a job. So therefore, if you are bad at that job, you should not be employed. Yeah. And it's just so
college officials get a little bit more of a pass.
They get a slight more pass.
And then high school officials,
they get a full pass.
You get a full pass.
Like, that's,
yeah.
You get the whole pass. You're Jim Bob working at the mechanic shop 5 days a week, and then randomly straight after work going to help a high school football game happen. You just get my respect. You're good.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Now, if you want to, like, if to get upset at their calls, okay, but you can't straight up call and tell them that they're terrible or they're awful or you suck.
You can get miffed and be mad if they kind of mess something up, but you have to do it with the understanding of,
come on,
they have other stuff going on, man. College and pro officials, though, you're a higher standard.
Yeah. Coming up, we've got a little odds makers here on Mic'd Up. All right, little odds makers. Fulton, what are the odds that KU goes to a bowl game?
Well, Jake, they are 100% now.
Yeah, they are.
It feels good every time.
I know. I like
It
that
does.
too.
It feels good. It feels good.
Before we get to more odds makers, The Athletic put out their future bowl projections.
Where do they have KU going, Jake?
So they've got K-State going to the Sugar Bowl.
That'd be a good bowl game.
Yeah, it's a New Year's Bowl. They go to the Sugar Bowl because they've got TCU in the playoff. They got
all glory to the Hypnotoad.
They got them in the playoff. So they are the 4 seed. They got Georgia the 1 seed. I believe Michigan and Ohio State the 2 and the 3 seed. So they got TCU in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
If TCU wins the Sugar Bowl or wins the Big 12 title game and doesn't make the playoff, then
they'll Sugar Bowl.
They go to the Sugar Bowl, and K-State doesn't. If K-State wins the Sugar Bowl, that'd be cool. If K-State wins the Big 12 title game, if they get there and win the title game, they go to the Sugar Bowl. They're not going to go to the playoffs. So the Big 12 gets in the Sugar Bowl, either the best team or the second best team. And if TCU goes to the playoff, then K-State gets there, even if they lose the Big 12 title game.
Yeah.
They've got K-State playing LSU.
Yeah. Play LSU in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Huge advantage there. All righty. They've got KU
Hawks
in the Liberty Bowl.
Okay, going over there in Memphis.
Yeah, you'll be walking in Memphis. Walking with you. Shout out Mark Cohn. Facing Memphis.
That's not fair.
How about that?
That's not
KU
fair.
and K-State facing home teams in their bowl games. That's what they've got.
I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time in Memphis, Tennessee, so I can take some time to go down there.
Okay. All righty. What are the odds that KU wins the Big 12 regular season title in basketball?
Oh, boy.
Man, Baylor's good.
KU's the highest ranked team in the Big 12.
No, Baylor's ahead now. Baylor's just 5, KU is 6.
Oh, okay.
With a new AP poll, Baylor is solo in 5. KU has dropped to 6. Their tie was broken with the new AP poll out. So before they were tied at 5th. They both could have said they were the 5th ranked team in the country. But they're both basically right there. I'm going to give them 45%. I think them and Baylor have both about the same percentage, about 45. And then I'm going to leave a little bit on the side for any like third team to kind of, maybe Texas, maybe. I don't think Texas Tech's going to be able to be that good this year just because they lost a lot of talent. TCU just lost to Northeastern State. They're out of here. Yeah, I didn't see that?
No, I know. That's incredible.
Okay. So I did not notice that last night.
They beat Arkansas Pine Bluff by 1.
Yes.
Then they beat another terrible team by like 3.
Yep.
And then they lost to Northwestern State.
Yep. TCU got their highest preseason polling in, I believe, school history, if not in forever, and have followed it up by being real bad to start the year.
Do you remember when I said TCU's what?
Yeah, I do. I remember that.
Yeah. So maybe.
No, the media got it wrong.
I'm right. Going, why is TCU ranked that high? Who cares?
You know what? I think it's something to it.
Thank you.
I think you did.
See?
Yeah, no, but I do about 45-ish% just because I think KU and Baylor are going to split that big percentage of the chance. And then you just always got to leave a little bit for someone else to maybe sneak in because the Big 12 usually often has 1 or 2 teams that are sneakily good and all of a sudden kind of creep up in that race. I'm just like, oh, wow, they're playing for a Big 12 title. Texas right now, I think, would probably be that team. But, I mean, with the Big 12 in a year, someone can kind of come out of nowhere and be like, oh, wow, this team is really good. But it's not TCU. TCU can't sit here and lose to Northwestern State and then be like, oh, yeah, we're still a Big 12 title contending team. No,
they're
you
not.
Can't. You cannot do that. And then everyone else, I'm like, eh. But yeah, I go about 45. Where'd you put it at?
I'll put it at. I'll put it at 50. I think it's a coin toss. I think it's them and Baylor. I don't think Texas is going to get it done.
That's fair. It's pretty much between KU and Baylor.
Yeah,
like
I'll go
you
50,
gotta
50.
leave a very tiny slice of a pie, but majority of that pie is going to those 2 schools. What are the odds, Jake, that the Chiefs finish the regular season with just 2 losses? That they go 15-2.
I'll say 15%.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're gonna
You
lose.
just think something's gonna come down the pipe while those slip up.
Now, to me, let's make it an even more interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds that they lose 3 games or 4 games? Because I think they're gonna lose the game. That's why I'll put it 15%. 1 out of 10 chance, right?
Yeah.
But they are. Something's gonna happen. They're gonna lose the game. Whether it might be to the Bengals. It might be the Chargers. It could be, I don't think the Rams are gonna. It might be the Seahawks. You know what I mean? Like,
the Rams will have to play the Chiefs without Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, because Cooper Kupp got put on IR.
Yeah, he's going on IR,
and that's 4 weeks. Do they play him within 4 weeks?
Yeah, they play them, I believe, right after the Chargers. I'm not sure on that. I think they do. It's either right after the Chargers or the second game after the Chargers. Either in 2 weeks or 3 weeks they play them. I know it's during the IR window. I'm right. They play the Chargers and then they play the Rams.
Is that that's in
Arrowhead?
Yeah. Oh, that is it.
That is the weekend of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That Sunday they'll play the Rams in Arrowhead.
It's just so hard to win 10 games in a row. Like,
it is. It's ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles only won 8 in a row and then dropped to the Commanders.
And so, like, the Bengals could beat them. The Seahawks could beat them.
Yeah.
But also, they might lose to the Raiders last game of the year because no starters playing. So I'll still say 15% that they end up with 2 losses. I think 3 and 4 is the bigger question. Like, If you want to say over under 2.5 losses, give me the over. If it's over under 3.5 losses,
well, then we're having a conversation.
Yeah, now we're talking because I think there is one loss in there somewhere, but I don't know if there's two.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it'd be about 30% that they finish with 2 losses. Because, man, I look at the teams they have left to play, and as long as the Chiefs aren't shooting themselves in the foot, they should be able to beat these teams. Now, Cincinnati could become much harder because Jamar Chase looks like he should be back by that game. If not, honestly, there's reports he might try and be back this week. Now, I don't think he'll probably play this week, but it looks like he's on the cusp of being back. That makes that game in Cincinnati harder because the Chiefs have struggled to play against Jamar Chase. So yeah, I see it's about 30 because I think there's a game that could drop before the Raiders, or if they're sitting at 14-2 going into the Raider game, they probably got the 1 seed locked up and they ain't playing nobody, and then they finish 14-3 because the scrubs can't beat the Raiders, which is fine. Now if you're telling me 3 losses, I really think they only lose 3. I think they only drop 1 more game the rest of the way, unless something happens in the flow of playing where they really start shooting themselves in the foot. I think maybe they drop 1 more because just the schedule aligns so well for them to win. Because, the Chargers, you should be able to win that game given how you've played them and what their injury status is right now. The Rams without Cooper Kupp, you should not lose to. Who was Matt Stafford throwing the ball to? Allen Robinson and Van Jefferson?
Yeah.
And Ben Skoranek? You shouldn't lose that game. Cincy, that's a maybe. You're on the road. They got good receivers. Seattle, maybe, because they're playing well, but that's still an iffy thing you could do. You shouldn't lose either game to Denver.
That game's going to get flexed to at least the afternoon game.
Seattle and Chiefs should be.
Yeah, it's a noon kick right now. That'll get flexed.
It should be. They got one primetime spot left they can be in for the Chiefs. They played 6 of 7 with the Charger game.
They'll move up just to the afternoon time slot would be my guess on that one. Coming up next, the Chiefs rookies. Just how impactful have they been? We'll get to that next. We did the halfway point for the Kansas City Chiefs last week, but want to point out just what this rookie class has meant for the 2022 season and what it will mean going forward. They've got 7 rookies who play or start or are in sub packages routinely on this roster. I consider Kadarius Toney a rookie, first-year guy with the team. Last year he played in 9 games. I'm going to consider him a rookie. He's in sub packages right now. Isaiah Pacheco, he's a starter. Leo Chenal in sub packages. He plays. Furious George, starter. By the way, he's got the most PBUs as a defensive lineman this year with 5.
Nice.
How about that?
Good job getting his hands up.
Trent McDuffie, starter. Justin Watson, starter. Josh Williams, sub packages. Brian Cook, special teamers. I'm not ready to say Sky Moore is in sub packages because he hasn't to me.
He's in every once in a while.
So that's 4 starters. 3 on defense. 3 of your 11 are rookies in Watson, McDuffie, and George. And then on offense, your running back Pacheco, who beat out a first-round running back as your starter. And then you traded for essentially a rookie in Toney. That's 4 guys. That is an incredible rookie class that you are getting 4 starting players on your team and 7 in sub packages. You even throw in, last year's guys, second-year guys. Bolton, starter.
Yep.
Creed Humphrey, starter. Trey Smith, starter. Noah Gray, in on sub packages. That is 7 starters and 4 guys who are in sub packages. That is 11 guys who are making an impact in this team, either first or second year. 11. You routinely only play about 40. 11 of the 40. That's 25% damn near of your roster being rookies or second year guys. Most of the guys like the Cooks or the Burtons, the Lamons, those type of guys, those are just Marcus Kemp's, those are just strictly special teamers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really why you really probably only play about, I would say about 40. I mean, that 11 of those guys, and they're impactful. Toney caught a touchdown. Pacheco ran for 80 yards. George got pressure and 2 pass breakups. McDuffie is a corner who didn't give up a passing yard. Watson is another starter. Like that is, Bolton and Creed and Trey Smith and Noah Gray all have had just huge impacts. Like, that's so impressive that is what you're getting. And this is the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs will be favored to be the winners in the AFC West for the next 4 years.
Yeah, it's a credit to the drafting and team building of Brett Veach and company. And I remember before the draft, Brett Veach was like, I think there might be like a 1,000-yard rusher in like the 6th or 7th round of this year's draft. Everyone kind of chuckled. Was like, all right, that's a little bold. You're probably having some things up. I mean, if the Chiefs really think Isaiah Pacheco can come what it is, hell, Brett Veach might be right, and the Chiefs might get a 1,000-yard rusher of the 7th round. I think it's way too early to really try and believe that that'll happen, but I mean, Pacheco had his best game as of his career against Jacksonville. I mean, he had 5 yards a tote. You start seeing those traits that you really liked about him. It's a testament to good team building that so many young players are contributing, not because they have to. For some of them, it is a little bit of have to, but they're also playing so well. And they're being such good players. And like we said, the biggest thing is this: a 7th round rookie beat out a former 1st rounder. That's just great evaluation of talent and getting something out of just squeezing every bit of juice you can out of every bit of talent you can find on your roster. It's outstanding how great the last 2 draft classes have been for Kansas City. And it's what they needed to do. With the way their team is going to lay out with contracts, you need talent like this. And they've done a great job of giving their team a lot of great young talent to build off of going forward. And that's what they needed. And it just sets them up so well going down the line.
We'll get a quick timeout. Before we get to that, didn't mention this, need to. Chris Kleiman said today for his media availability that Adrian Martinez will be healthy enough to return to action for Kansas State, but Kleiman says that he could potentially be ready for the bowl game and didn't rule out the possibility of him playing against KU.
He's out at least for this week. So this week, well, Howard.
We PowerCat.com was the one that we saw that said he might be done for the year. But some news, it says here, Chris Kleiman says Will Howard will start at quarterback against West Virginia. He's out for the short term, but not out for the season. Here is what sucks. K-State football coach Chris Kleiman announces that safety Kobe Savage out for the year.
That one's brutal.
Kobe Savage, pretty good. Echo Boydo and Josh Hayes are both practicing. They should be ready to go. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up with the mic drop. All right, Full, what do you got for your mic drop?
All I'll say is this: it's important to remember that the 2021 Kansas Jayhawks are in fact better than the 2021 Georgia Bulldogs in only 6 rounds of competition. And from our friends at My Team is Better Than Your Team.com. KU, the real national champions of 2021.
I mean, they claim, the titles in 22 and 1923. I mean, why not say national champions this year? I mean, you can just do it now. Hey, we won the Helms titles. Those counts as legit national titles. No, they don't. You've won 3, which is amazing. That's great. You're the all-time winningest program in the history of college basketball. Saying that we've won 6. Stop it. You haven't. JJ Letcher, the only unanimous football player on the MIAA's all football team. He was named Special Teams Player of the Year, unanimous wide receiver. Andrew Funk and Grant Bruner, first team as well. That'll do it here for Mic'd Up. We'll talk to you tomorrow at noon. Coming up next, 580 Sports Talk.